Well, hello everyone. It's another Wednesday weekly live stream. Choose your own adventure, right? Hopefully everyone's has started voting already. Twitch, we're gonna get you a poll put up right now. We got 16 viewers on Twitch already. Hey, let me get that set up. I should have done it while I was waiting for the stream to start. But our mods, we have a couple mods in the room here, JFix and DIY Dave, and Permise 187 on Twitch, and they can now control my stream. So DIY Dave or JFix, I want you to see if you can kind of move my cameras around. That's in case I'm like getting distracted and I'm looking down at something and you're like, camera, change the camera. So these guys can change it for me. So go ahead and give it a go. And while you're doing that, I'm going to set up a poll on Twitch. Look at that. That was the microscope view. Here, I'll move this over. There you go. And now you can move it around to something else. And you can also change the title of the stream that's there at the bottom. So after we select the laptop, it should you should be able to change that title. And I'm almost done with the poll for Twitch. All right, so Twitch's poll is running. So we got that running for 10 minutes. So we'll let Twitch vote, you guys vote. And so I hope everyone had a great week. Another week went by. Technical difficulties last week trying to do this automatic camera changing by the mods, but I did get that set up. I have a couple new changes here. I did get a new computer. My old computer was a 10th gen i7 with a 1050 Ti, so kind of older machine. This machine I have is a 14700K, so 14th gen with the 4060 Ti. It doesn't seem like it's performing better. It almost seems like it's performing worse. So I don't know. And the other thing is I have a new face camera here. So I bought a second Z30 Nikon. So I have one overhead and I have one in front of me now. And then I took I used to have a cell phone as my face camera here. My old camera is now my widescreen. Haha, so you get a better view. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. I like all the different camera angles. I hope you guys do too. So, if you guys looked at the votes for the three machines, we have, I can't even remember what they are at this point. So a Precision 5560, so that'd be like a 2021 machine. That one, it says completely dead. I think that's kind of just a generic description that the customer gave. It won't power off the charger, won't power off a battery, so they changed out with a known charger and it didn't fix it, that type of thing. Next one's an Alienware M18R1, so the 18-inch laptop, very expensive, $3,000 laptop. This one says that they believe it was a power surge because their cable modem died, and then 4 other people in the neighborhood cable modem died also at the same time. So they think it came through the Ethernet port and blew out the laptop. And then the last thing was the XPS 9710, and that one is the customer upgrade the RAM and maybe the SSD. I can't remember where the notes are. I have to read it, but after they did that, then the laptop no longer turned on. When they press the power button, they get that orange light of death, which we had an orange light of death in the running last week. And I ended up making a video of that one. I don't have it released yet, obviously, but so you'll see that coming up. It was actually kind of cool. So cast your votes on that. I wanted to show you guys while we're waiting for all the votes. This is a laptop I was working on right before the stream started. This is a motherboard for a XPS 9575. It's a precision, or it's an XPS then, yeah. So this one has 2 USB-C ports on one side, 2 USB-C ports on the other side, and one of the ports was really loose, and so I went to take it off, or I replaced that USB-C port. Where's my microscope button? I moved around all my buttons over here. And every single pad on this USB-C port was ripped off all the way across. And so I've already went through and I've replaced all the traces here. So this is kind of my, you can see I've already put solder mask back on it. So that I worked on this for the last 45 minutes or so, replacing every single one of these pads. So that pad, that pad, that pad, that pad, all the way across. All these were all new replacements, and you can still see my wires here. I just had to stop because the stream was about to start. And then I put solder mask over the whole thing, and then I'll scrape the solder mask back down to reveal the pads, and then we can solder a new port on there. So thought that was kind of interesting just to show you what I was working on right before the stream started. Let me kind of look through the chat. I'm not really paying attention to the chat very well right now. Yeah, so Derek asked, the 14700K, you say worst performance. Well, what I'm seeing is this. So like, if I don't know if you're seeing it now, so I'm just gonna sway back and forth. Did you see it judder just for a second right there? That's not the stream doing it, that's live. And on my camera, it's clear. But on my screen, it's juddering occasionally whenever I like, you know, if I'm moving, it will start like skipping. It's like skipping frames almost. I'm using these Elgato 4K to HDMI adapters, so I have 3 of them. And one for the microscope, one for my overhead, one for the face camera. And I don't remember having this issue prior, but I didn't have this camera set up, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm just overwhelming all the USB-C ports. I also added another USB-C card in this machine too that adds a little extra, so I don't know. Let's see what else. Oh man. So we have a couple first timers in here I saw this is the first time you've actually made the stream. That's kind of cool. Jay's 2 Cents had an interesting video on stuttering and gaming issue with USB drivers. Well, I may need to check that out because I'm trying everything. This afternoon, I see it just did it again, and I'm like, I can't look at it. Every time I see it flutter like that or judder, I can't, or stutter, I guess, any of those, it drives me crazy. But I tried like disabling like power management things or whatever, where they will put the USB hub to sleep. So I'm not really sure. No PCIe Elgato card. No, I did not buy the card because I already had 2 of the USB devices, but I may just buy the card if that's going to fix it. I mean, you know, it's like $400 and something, but I don't know. I mean, I'd rather get it. I mean, since I already have 3 going, I might as well get a card that has 4 inputs on it. Let's see. I want to look and see how our poll's doing on Twitch. On Twitch, we got most people are voting for the Alienware, and we only have a few more minutes left. Twitch viewers, we got 27 viewers over there, and then the Precision's winning on YouTube, and the Alienware is losing on YouTube. But you see me fix so many Alienwares, that's probably why. And so it's nice to fix something different, right? Let's see. Excellent. Yes. Oh man, I'm a little bit exhausted today. I'm delirious. That's pretty funny. You have a PCIe Elgato Camlink Pro, and it's running Thunderbolt GPU. Really? But it works okay though, JFix? Because I mean, I don't really understand why it's. I even unplugged all the cards where I only had 1 plugged in, and it was still doing it. So I don't know. And here, look, this is my cell phone, and the cell phone doesn't do it as much. I mean, I guess it's a little slower, but it doesn't stop and do that whole juddering thing. And so I don't know. It's a strange thing to me that I don't really understand why a high-end card that's, and I'm pushing 4K 30. I mean, it's not like I'm doing 60 frames or anything like that. Yeah, USB pull rate driver. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm gonna have to just mess around with it more because I just got this set up on Sunday. So Sunday morning, I came in to work and set up the new computer and the new camera, and then I was actually going to live stream on Sunday morning. I'm thinking about adding that to our live stream schedule for the people that are in the UK or overseas, because it's the middle of the night, right, Jace Fix? You have to stay up in the middle of the night here. And so if I do an 8 a.m. Central Time US feed, then it would be like what, 2, 3 in the afternoon or something. So I think that would be a good time. I mean, I don't know if we're going to do choose your own adventure type of thing, but we will see. I'm just going to play around with it. So the polls are almost closing. We got a couple minutes left. Alienware still winning on Twitch. Precision still winning on YouTube. We have 281 votes, 381 people in the stream, so get your vote in. Let's save another laptop. Did anyone see that short I did a couple days ago? Well, actually, I did another one today. Did anyone see the one I posted today? That one was ridiculous. So if you missed it, this laptop came in, and it was this morning, and it's a 2008 Vostro 1400. So it's an old laptop. I mean, very old. Why are they even fixing it, right? It costs more to ship it than it's worth. And I turn it on, and it works, and it boots up straight to Windows XP. So it still has XP on it. They didn't even upgrade to Windows 10 or something. And then I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, well, maybe they just don't do it, you know, they air gap it, don't connect to the internet or anything like that. And what auto launches on the desktop right when it turns on is uTorrent. They were torrenting on this Windows XP laptop. So anyway, it's just ridiculous. So something totally unexpected. I was not ready for it. Windows XP, my old friend. Yes, Windows XP was great until you could like hack into it really easily. Okay, the polls are closing. The Alienware one on Twitch and the XPS one on the YouTube. So we will start with the YouTube has the most viewers, so we have to start there, and then we'll do Twitch's next. We'll start with the Precision 5560, and then we're going to do the Alienware M18R1 next. All right. You're talking about LimeWire and Napster and ICQ. What about iMesh? What was? Yeah, there was a bunch of those peer-to-peers. Okay, so here it is. Look at that. The title already changed. You guys see that on the screen here? Right there? I did not change that. I did not change that. That was one of my mods that did that. Good job, Dave. Isn't that pretty cool? I think that's pretty sweet. So here we go. This is a Precision 5560. So this is a 2021 laptop. Now, this looks just like an XPS. It has a little bit darker gray outside casing. So basically the difference between an XPS and a Precision in the 5000 series, so 5500, is the GPU and the CPU. So this one, I'm not sure which CPU it has and what GPU it has, but it's going to have, usually it will not have an RTX GPU. It will have like a professional, one that's for kind of like a T2000 or something like that. And then the CPU will sometimes be Xeons, and then sometimes we'll have just a regular i-series. So, all right, here we go. All right, new day, new laptop to repair. This time we have a Precision 5560. So this is like a 2021 laptop. This one came in because it's completely dead. So let's take a look at this together. I know, you guys get a kick out of that. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is try to turn it on. And we're not getting anything here. So let me get the power meter pulled up. And the power meter is not coming up because I don't have it open. All right, power meter's up. Okay, so keep an eye on this power meter right here. We're going to plug in the charger, the charger. First thing we're noticing here, it went from 5 volts up to 20 volts. Okay, so that means that the PD controller, power delivery chip, is actually negotiating the voltage with the charger. And so that's a good sign. And then we can see that the other thing is pulling is 0.01. So that means that most likely the LDO is on, which is the linear voltage regulator that powers the EC chip. So the EC chip could be running its loop of code that's monitoring the power button, and we will see momentarily. So I just opened the lid, and did you see the power go to 0? So that means the EC chip just noticed that I opened the lid. So let's do it again. You see how it went to 0 and then came back up? So it tried to turn the laptop on, but it couldn't. So I bet when I press the power button, it's going to do the exact same thing. It sure did. Okay. So the trigger, oh, look at this. And then the screen came on. But it's not pulling any current. So we have the screen coming on. It actually is going into BIOS. Look at that. So it is running. We got 8% charge, discharging, and AC adapter not installed. Let me move it to another port. And it's still not installed, and then we got 0, 0 being pulled, not even 0.01 anymore, okay? So we have something going on with the delivery after, oh, look at that. We just plugged it back in and it turned on. Okay, we got a weird one going on now. So I want you to pay attention to this. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me zoom in and see if you can see the screen better or not, because now it's really bright. Okay, I want you to see, oh man, it's kind of washed out here. Let's see, do we bring down the brightness here? Okay, this is what I want you to look at. You see how it says 130? So it's detecting the charger as 130 watts, but look, it's not pulling any current. You see that? So it's not pulling any current, so this is not even real. The battery's down to 5%. It says charging, but it's obviously not charging because we can see the current's not coming out of it. So that's wrong. All right, so we already know that there's something wacky going on with the charge circuit. So let's get this brightened back up. Zoom back up. All right, so we're going to have to open it up, take a look inside. We know that it's running off the battery. So what that usually tells me, because if you think about the power circuit on a laptop, it's going to have kind of two different areas. You're going to have the charger comes in, and then that will energize the main power rail and power the laptop. Then you have the battery voltage that ties to that main power rail. And this particular laptop runs at battery voltage. So the battery voltage on this one is going to be 12.6. So the main power rail is going to be like 12.6. The charger is going to be 20 volts going in, and then it will get converted down to 12.6. So hopefully that makes sense. Or I'm just babbling on. All right, so I'm going to pull the bottom off. These things are a pain to get open. So completely dead to not charging. Yeah, you might need to change that to not charging. And so kind of what I wanted to say is, okay, so what it's telling me that it actually detected the charger at one moment and then shut it off. So that's telling me something. And then the fact that it's not charging also tells me that most likely we have a power management chip issue. And then we could even have a MOSFET issue that is separating the power rails there. So that's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I do not know. So I got all the screws out. I got to pry the bottom off here. So it's completely dead, except it turns on. Yeah, I don't know. Here, oh yeah, we didn't put the notes up here. So I'm just going by the customer's notes. Let me put this in a way that you can see it. This is what I want you to, this is basically what I read. The laptop not turning on, even with a known good charger. So not able to turn on. Says that twice. No response. So I'm not crazy. Is this the wrong system? No, this is the right system. So this is exactly, so I don't know. I did not know. Maybe it wanted to turn on. I don't know. All right, so the screws are out. It's a pain to get this bottom open, so y'all talk to me while I'm trying to get this. The title wars have begun. That's funny. Maybe put repairing in front of that so that we know what we're working on. So just saying he's currently repairing or something like that. Or what I've been doing is saying repairing colon and then the whatever I'm doing. Gosh, oh man. Okay, this is frustrating. It's like you can't get the pry tool in here very well. And this is why people break this laptop when they're trying to open it. That's super cool, guys. I love it. All right, so we can also add in a little trick here. I want you guys to try creating a poll for me. It's just a yes or no poll, but you can ask whatever question. So if we want to say, is this going to be a power management chip? Or do we want to say, am I going to be able to get this bottom open? I just want to see if those polls get created while y'all do that. So, oh my gosh. So I don't want to use a piece of metal. I have a metal pry tool too, but I don't want to use that to get this thing open. Look at that. I got a poll on YouTube just popped up and a poll on Twitch popped up. And then the Twitch one, I think, I can't remember how long it's supposed to run for, like 5 minutes maybe. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. I still have not gotten my tool in here at all. All right, let me get it. I'm going to go for something a little bit stronger. I'll be right back. I rarely have to get one of these out. Hey Esme, thank you so much for the sub. I got me a Twitch sub. Appreciate that. Paul will go crazy trying to remove the back of the light. Yes, I know. I just cannot get this thing open. This is nuts. There we go. Okay, we got it. We have entry. I don't think I've had it this stuck before. This is the most boring stream ever. You're just watching a guy take the bottom off a laptop. What kind of stream is this? This is crazy because I'm really pulling hard on this and it doesn't even want to come apart. There we go, pops. Okay, so this is the type of bottom that you can actually use. You can just take your screws out. You don't even need screws in here because it stays on by itself. Okay, and the bottom is off. All right, let's take a quick look around. We have the main battery here. This is going to be a Dell OEM. You can see the serial number there. We have a couple NVMe slots here, but this one's populated. This one is not. That's where the chipset is. That's just a cooler. A couple DDR4 sticks, fans, and then that's the heatsink. This is where the LCD connects, and then we have two USB-Cs on this side and one USB-C on this side. So I've worked on this board so many times, like I can't even count how many times. So I'm very familiar with it. I'm going to unplug the charger. I'm going to unplug the battery just so I can get that out of the picture. We're going to plug the charger back in one more time. So now with no power in the system, the machine should come right on right when we plug it in. I'm just going to discharge the CMOS battery. Well, there's no CMOS, but discharge all the capacitors. And then we will plug it in again. So keep an eye on that power meter. I just want to see what it does. Hey, Total Noob, oh, we got another Twitch sub. Thank you, appreciate that. All right, so 20 volts, but it should actually be coming on. It shouldn't prevent itself from coming on because when I did a CMOS reset, the board should even come on even if the lid is closed. It's not like it's preventing that. All right, we're gonna do the next one. So that one responds the same, and then we'll do this last one over here. They should all do the same thing because I'm assuming that the PD controllers are fine. It's just gonna be the, oh, that one's only 5 volts. Okay, that one went to 20. So is it loose or did it just take a second? All right, so all 3 USB-C ports are negotiating and they're all going to the exact same current draw. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that means that most likely it's not a PD controller chip issue, so power delivery is not going to be the issue. It's probably going to be after that. So after it negotiates it, sends the voltage out, and then how it gets to the main power rail. I'm going to pull the board out now because that's the next step. So it doesn't have anything to do with it not being a quality laptop. The reason why I've worked on these a lot is because they're worth a lot of money. And so I only do board repair on machines that are worth a lot of money, and I work on a lot of laptops. So we specialize only in Dell and Alienware laptops. Oh, yesterday I just got my 25,000th repair. 25,000. So that was yesterday. So it has to do with just because we're the people that everyone sends the stuff to. And then if it's a board repair, we will only work on it. We'll do whatever's least expensive for the customer, right? So if it's cheaper to replace the board, then we'll just sell them a board. If it's, and then if it's viable or worth spending the money to fix it or spending the time to fix it, that's what we'll do. And XPSs are worth it. So that's generally why they're being fixed. So, hype train going on Twitch. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the hypes on Twitch. Got a couple new subs. This won't take very long to pull this motherboard out. I even know where all the screws are. Thank you, Mr. Fix. Yeah, it's been a long road. I got to tell you that. It's exhausting to think about 25,000 repairs. And I'm not the one who does all the repairs. I'm just the person who does the board repairs. It's 1:30 in the Netherlands now. Yes, I am so sorry for that. I want to get you guys a stream that you can actually be alert on and awake. So I'm going to try to start adding Sunday morning, which would be Sunday afternoon for you. So we'll see how I get that figured out. And then what I'm going to do in that stream, I don't know, because I don't know if I want to do choose your own adventure like this, where they vote. But I don't know. All right, I'm going to close out. Oh, no, we got a couple more minutes left in the poll. So the Twitch poll is saying that it's not going to be the power management chip, and then the YouTube poll says it's going to be the power management chip. So this is kind of interesting. It's all yin and yang. Everything is like opposite on each one of them. It's the war between Twitch and YouTube. Just figuratively, though. Wow, look at this. Level 1 record hype going on here on Twitch. How many screws have I lost? Here, I'm going to show you how many screws. This is, so every time I repair a laptop, I keep one of the screws. That's a joke, by the way. But I have tubs full of these. Just a screw for my homies. But how many countless repairs that I've done that I've actually put the screws back in that were missing? That's even more, I feel like. I don't know how I have that many screws, by the way, but because I do put a lot in to other people's. Okay, let's look at the fuzz here. We have some fuzzies. We can say gooch. We have gooch. It's going to collect it for us here. You want that gooch? You want it? It's not too much. It's not too bad. But we can put it right here. We'll just save it for later in case we need it. Where'd it go? You call shorted cap. Okay, Marie calls shorted cap. I wonder if, so I would have to create a poll because you guys, our mods can only do yes or no polls because that's all I coded in there. So I haven't, I guess I could come up with some sort of way for them to actually fill out everything, but that's for next week. So if we want to do a poll where I actually say, what is it going to be? And then it'll be the power management chip, it'll be a shorted cap, it'll be a ripped off component or a burnt component. But that sounds like a lot of work. So. Almost there, one more screw. Last screw. Twitch mods can do custom polls. That's right, that's right. So I could do it where, I wish YouTube would have it where they could do polls, because I'm having to basically take their chat and then parse that data and then send it through StreamerBot. and then turn that into a pole. All right, so we got our motherboard out here. So we're going to take a quick look around. I think we can stop the poles because, so the verdict on the poll is, wait, I can vote on my own poll? I guess because it, oh, okay, interesting. On Twitch, I'm looking at, sorry. I'm just getting distracted here. Shorted CPU, I don't think it's a shorted CPU. We got the Dell screen, and we were able to go into the BIOS, so that's not shorted CPU. Okay, so Twitch says no on the power management chip, and YouTube says yes. It's a battle. 3, 2, 1, fight. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, so we have the board out. We're going to do a kind of a once-over. We're just going to kind of look around, see if we see any burnt components, cracked components, things like that. Most likely, because the machine's working, we know that this section of the board most likely works, and this section of the board probably has the issue, because this is going to be where the battery's plugged in, and then this, all the charger stuff comes over here. This is the main power rail generated and all that. What I like to do, we can even just look right here on the back side, and there's like this plastic paper here. And if there's a hot component or a melted component, you'd actually see it make a melted mark, and it's not. So we don't see anything there, obvious. So now we can just take this off. Oh, there's a live session for this channel. Yes, I've been doing this live. This is probably our, what, 12th or so, I guess? Can't remember. We do it every week, 6 o'clock Central Time. Every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Central Time. And it is a user-generated vote. The users vote for what I'm working on. I haven't looked at the laptops ahead of time, so I have no idea what we're looking at. And then we just try to figure it out. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's okay to fail. I don't really, it's not going to make me feel bad. So well, let's get under the microscope so I can take a closer look. Where's the microscope button? Wish I did not rearrange my panel there. So we'll do our once over. I'm going to start over here on our USB-C port. So we got a pair here. This is actually, let me use my poker here. That's like a little BIOS chip, but it's for our Thunderbolt controller, which is on the other side of the board. Here's going to be one of the power MOSFETs that pair up with the power MOSFETs on the other side of the board. This is going to be our power management chip. This is actually what I think is what the issue is, but we will take a look at that momentarily. The power management chip, by the way, is what handles the charging and creating the main power rail, things like that. This, let's see, I think that, and there's another one over here, are the hard drive, or the SSD, I like to call it hard drive, but the SSD power supplies. Here's the ECU chip. This is what we were talking about whenever we were saying that the power button or the lid, when you're opening and closing the lid, it was responding or not. So this right here is in charge of monitoring the power button presses, the keyboard, a bunch of GPIOs, and it's just running like a loop of code. It's an embedded controller. This is our 3 volt and 5 volt, or 3.3 and 5 volt buck boost converter. Those are the coils for that, or the MOSFETs that hook to the coils on the other side. I'm not sure what that is. What is that? Is that our PD controller? That's our PD controller for this USB-C port. And that's all we got over there. This is, sorry, I feel like we're out of focus a little bit. This is our BIOS chip. I don't know what that is. This is our BIOS chip for the graphics card, which is on the other side of this. Sometimes we have ripped chips on the back of here. I don't think the customer took this thing apart, because I could have taken the bottom off. Usually if someone took it apart, then it's easy to take the bottom off again. And so I don't think we're going to have any ripped chips, but this is usually where the chips get ripped off, or is on the back right here. That's the back of the CPU. That's the back of the GPU. All right, so I don't see anything obvious. What we would be looking for are these capacitors with a little crack in it. But again, the rest of the board works, right? So if we look right here, this is going to be where all the power input is, and this is kind of where I'm thinking there's going to be an issue. But we're going to finish our once over everywhere. Let me take this off up here. Wait, wrong view. Keep pushing the wrong button. I have my little touch panel there, and I rearranged all the buttons like an idiot, and so now it's like I keep pressing the wrong thing. Don't do that. Okay, so I'm just taking this off. That's the chipset. So this is just a heatsink for the chipset. Get that out of the way. All right, so there's the chipset. Has a little the heatsink pad that was on there. That's where the keyboard connects. This is the power supply for the chipset. This is the battery charge coil, and so we should actually get voltage over here. There's the PD controller for both of these USB-C ports, and these USB-C ports will come here, negotiate 20 volts, and then this will output 20 volts, and it will output them to one of these two chips depending upon what port you're using, and then it will come out of those and then come over here to, I believe, this guy, and this guy will reduce the 20 volts down to the 12.6, and then this guy, it's either this one or this one, I can't remember, is the MOSFET that kind of separates the battery from the charging. So one of these might be stuck or not working, or the power management chip's not working, or we have something else going on. But I've seen these burned out, get stuck on, and that's where the battery plugs in. That's where the SSDs are. Here's the 3 volt and the 5 volt power rail output coils. It's wireless. That's where this little I/O board plugs in. That's the power button. And CPU and GPU, I'm just going to leave the heatsink on for right now because I don't think we need to look under there because the thing turns on. Let me see if I can catch up with chat real quick. Ability to repair is cool. Yeah, so I'm just self-taught, so I just kind of make it up as I go along. So all this is made up, by the way. It's all logical to me, but I don't know. Paul Daniels, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you coming to my stream. He is the man. You do repair. You do component repair. Battery plugs in and runs on battery. Oh man. You're guessing a failing cap. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. So the next thing I want to try, we're just going to kind of measure around the power management chip. We need to figure out if we are getting the correct voltages over here. Oh, and by the way, I bought one of these, JFix. I bought the polarizer light thingy, and boy, is that thing dark. Do you end up using it all the time? Or is this the one that you ended up choosing? Was the just a mechanical one? I don't know. But so anyway, the gist of this is that it will light up the microscope area here. And then you could spin this to get rid of the reflections, but it's so dark. Like when I'm trying to look through it, it's like, it's hard for me to see, but the camera looks great. So I just kind of pick my battles, I guess. I don't know. So I'm going to reserve it to put on there sometimes. Because this is super bright for me. It's super crystal clear. I mean, it's like HD vision. But then sometimes you'll have a little bit of reflection, especially if I go straight down. So like that's straight down. So that's why I always put it kind of as a tilt. And then you'll get, the field of view will be out of focus a little bit, but you know. Paul Daniels, you're not a fan of it either? Yeah, it's just, if it was brighter, then I would be happy. But yeah, it feels really dark and gray. Yeah, it feels like a stormy cloud day, right? Okay, so power management chip, like I said, so we're going to plug in the charger again, and then we're going to measure over here. Let's make sure my meters are working. Good. Good. Polarize the light instead. I mean, let's see. You see how the polarizer works here? If I hold it in place. Yeah, that didn't really work. Because the lights need to go through that, is what needs to happen. Works a little bit, I guess. Yeah, I'll just hold it right underneath the lens like that. That's what we'll do from here on out. Charger. Sorry, I am totally distracted. All right, so here's our pin 1, and this is going to be our input 20 volts. So this big giant trace here, so we're going to have 20 volts on here. And we don't have 20 volts on there. What? What? Okay, well, we already found our problem. So we should have 20 volts right there, and I'm not seeing 20 volts. Do we have 20 volts here? No. Yeah, this light under here, I can adjust my light. Because I have the brightness on my microscope almost all the way, like, or halfway, I guess. I can make it really bright and then turn it down. Sometimes it's a little too bright even. But let's just measure the rest of these. So 20 volts is there, but it's missing. We should have 5 volts here, and we're not getting 5 volts there. This is going to be the VDD line. And then we should have 3.3 on these, and we're not getting that. So we definitely, this chip's not coming on, and we're not getting our 20 volts here. But why aren't we not getting our 20 volts there? That is an interesting one. So that means we need to kind of go back to the source where the 20 volts is created. Here's our PD controller. It says we have 20 volts based on that PD screen right there. So the output of this is going to be to these coils here, or inductors. We have 20 volts there, and we have 20 volts. No, we don't have 20 volts there. So it's going to be going into this one. And let's see, is it this side? Can't remember. This guy turns on and off based on what port it's in. Are we getting 20 volts over here? So we're not getting 20 volts over here, so we know that the issue is around here. But I can't remember. I'm going to switch ports real quick. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other port. I just want to see where the voltage is now. So this one should not have 20 volts on it anymore. Nope, it doesn't. It should be over here instead. It is. And then that's going to go through this guy. And it's not getting past it. So this guy should be turning on right here. And so if we wanted to, we could just jump right across here, because all this is like a little on-off switch, and we could just jump it. So that could be burned out, but both of them being burned out doesn't make sense. So I feel like it's more likely something's telling it not to turn on. Yeah, we're not getting our 20 volts over here. Oh, that's actually getting me. So let's see the enable here. So we have 3.3 there. We don't have anything there. Don't have anything there. And we have 20 volts there. So 20 volts is in the chip. 20 volts is going into the chip, but we're not getting our 20 volts coming out of the chip. And I can't remember where it comes out. So I'm just going to go into continuity mode so I can just type around here. And I'm not keeping up a chat very well, so you guys kind of talk amongst yourselves if you can. I'll be back in a second. So I'm just going to try to find the output of this. So I'm going to measure over here. Yeah, so this is the output right here. Yeah, you can kind of actually see it. So if I follow it back, I don't know how well you can see it. We want to get 20 volts here. It's going to come through this inductor or coil. It's going to come through this resistor, and then it comes over here. And this pad right here should be tied to this pad also. So if we measure there, because this is the output. Yeah, all right. So are we not getting over here? Let's measure to ground. Let me make sure we don't have a short on this. And we don't have a short here. And we definitely don't have a short here because the machine came on. So we're just not getting voltage past this. Huh, interesting. I would almost say those chips are bad, but both of them being bad? Sounds weird. Let me check the other one that's on the single port. And that one's actually in the middle of the board. It's like right yar. So we're going to plug in the charger again on that single port though. And I want to measure and see what voltage we're getting right here. So these inductors, we should have 20 volts going in. It's going into the chip, and it should be coming out right here. And we're getting 0, but not 0. So let me plug this. I'm going to re-plug in the USB-C port and see if it spikes up for a second. Now it's not spiking up, so it's not coming on at all. Well, then I don't know the pin out of this. You know what's really annoying? There's no board view for this. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist for either one of these. This is a XPS 9510 or a Precision 5560, but the 9500 is pretty much the same board. It's a little bit different, but you couldn't get it for either one. So that's the board number if you want to prove me wrong, but board view doesn't exist. There's a schematic out there, but that's for the generation below it, before it, but no board view. So I want to figure out, what do I want to do? I want to figure out why those aren't turning on. I'm kind of stumped at this point, at this moment. Let me plug a battery into it. I want to see if those come on for a moment. Cascaded failure. I mean, it's so weird to have all three of those burn out. Now, I've had multiple burn out before, so maybe we could just start by changing one out and then just seeing if it fixes it. And that might be what our next step is, but it is pretty strange to have three of them go out. But maybe they're using an aftermarket charger. If they're using a fake charger, that will do it. This feels, it has a Dell logo on it, but it feels really, really light. Here's how we can tell. Does that have a real end on it? Sometimes they'll have these little fake ends on them. I don't know. This doesn't feel like a real charger to me. It's actually under-watted, though. This thing takes 130 watts. This is only a 90 watt. Is it mangled? Like, you know, I'm just trying to put something together, right? Try to figure out what would cause those, all three of them to go out. And that looks okay. I'm going to plug in their charger. I mean, I'm going to plug in their battery, and then we're just going to measure again, and then I'm just going to change out one of those. Yeah, it was K4411. K411P. Now, the generation before it is this number. Let me see if I can give it to you. So the generation before it is this one, which I would be perfectly happy with too. Either one of those. But the board view doesn't exist. I mean, you'll definitely find a schematic for this one. I know that, but the other one doesn't work. It doesn't exist. I've searched high and low. High and low. All right. So I'm just plugging in the battery here. Let's see. You know what we could actually do? I didn't even think about that until just now. We can look at it under a thermal camera when we plug in the charger, just to see if we get anything warm. So I'm going to plug in the charger now, and we're just going to look around and see if we see anything getting warm. I mean, now we don't have enough current, so the only thing that should be getting hot is the EC chip with 0.01, but the EC chip's not getting hot. What's pulling that 19 milliamps? The LDO is, okay. This thing's supposed to be hot, by the way. Let's do that view, maybe? Let's see. I'm trying to find you a good view that has both of my cameras in there. There you go. So this right here produces a 3.3. So we got 19 volts on one side, 9 volts on that side, and we should have 3.3 on one of these. Yep, 3.3, and this should be 9 again? Yeah. So that's actually operating right, and it's always hot whenever it turns on, whenever it's trying to start something. So, I don't know. So but again, I want to plug in the battery while we're going to try to figure this out. So battery's getting plugged in as of now. It's hard for you to see that. All right, plugging in the charger. And then we're just going to measure what we're getting over there on the power. Well, no, we're going to measure over here on these inputs again. I feel like I'm all over the place right now. It's probably because this is a weird one. When it's weird, I have to kind of think about it. But right now I'm having to perform on demand and kind of think about it while I'm doing. All right, so 20 volts coming in. We should have 20 volts in the output here, and we're not getting that at all. I just want to jump this chip so bad. Just want to put a wire across. Yeah, so we're going to have to replace it. Nothing's different. And we don't have any current being pulled to create any more heat. So let's just remove that chip real quick. And we'll put a new one on. I'm going to do this one on this side because it's in the middle. Soren would be proud. So we're going to grab a donor board. Luckily, I have stacks of them. Not because they fail a lot, but because they're worth money. And there's plenty of them in existence. See if I have one of the chips on here. I think that's one right there. Yeah, and I've already stolen, that's the EC chip I already stole off of here, so is that one good? Yeah, that's fine. So we will take that guy off of there and put it right here, just to eliminate that as being a potential problem. But anybody who's just joining, this machine actually did turn on off a battery. It just did not turn on off the charger, and it's not getting the voltage past the, it's past the PD controller, it is getting past that, but it's not getting past that to power the rest of the power rails. So I'm thinking it's one of these guys, because I've definitely changed these out in the past a lot. So let's get this one removed. Can we vote on the economy? Oh my gosh. Test the enable pin. Yeah, enable has 3.3 on it, so that's why I'm like, although I don't know if that's the enable. It seems like it would be 5 volts. That's the thing, is like, I don't know what the panout is on this. I guess the schematic would tell me what the panout is of the chip itself. But so we're taking this one off and just set it to the side. And then we'll put the, oh, that is our good one, actually. Our brand new one. So let me take this as the bad one. Yeah, you guys are welcome to look up the data sheet on this. It's a BL01111A. Those numbers mean so much. It's like the best thing I've ever seen. Now, I hate how these small chips are because they just put numbers on them and they don't mean anything really. All right, new one's going on. So whenever I solder this on, I just kind of set it there, get it tacked. I'm going to add some flux now. And notice I didn't use any flux when I even took it off. And then now I'll add flux, and that will get underneath the chip. And then, see, now it just sat right in the right space. See that? So there we go. Just a happy little trip. What was UW1? Where was that at? Right here? It's not a was. It isn't pop. It's a no pop. Or no stuff. None of these boards have it. RTC, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. They just don't have it on any of these boards. They do that sometimes. Just clean this up because that's what I like to do. Because I'm crazy. Really know if it's going to work. But will it work? That's the question. All right, I'm just going to plug it in. Let's look at the power meter. The board should start booting up if it fixes it. We're at 5 volts, 20 volts. That took a long time to negotiate. That was crazy. Huh. That's weird. Okay. We might be jumping this. Remove a possible another batch chip. Yeah, that could be possible. I mean, it's not impossible, but likelihood is starting to kind of get a little gray. I don't think that that's really what's happening. 20 volts going in. Nothing coming out. So it's definitely a weird one. Okay, so let's see if we can track down where our enable pin is then, because that's what has to be missing. So we're at 3.2 there, and we got 0.2 there. We found our 0.2 power rail, by the way. If you're interested in where the 0.2 power rail is, it's right there. You know I'm joking. So it's not there anymore. 0.2 went away. So 3.2, see, I don't know what these are. So this one is 0.05. And then 2.5. It just seems low. Let's get another board since we don't have a board view. Would the JSET 171 work? No, because that one would probably be a 90. That might be a 9520 board. Those boards are different. So the 9500 and 9510 boards are the same, and the 5550 and the 5560 boards are the same. Well, the same time period. And then once you go after that, then the CPU and GPU switch location, and the chipset gets built into the CPU, and there's all this other stuff going on. Oh yeah, my Alien Expert shirt. Yeah, it got taken down. I gotta redo it because I think I made it too much with Dell's Alien head or something. So I'll redo it with. I'll just draw the head myself. I kind of took half their head and did it. So what can you do? I will redo it and put it back up there. Okay, so I want to get a good board or a board that powers on, and then I want to measure that real quick. I do have a board up here that powers on. So this board powers on, and then I can just measure. White fuse, or that white one is a cap or a fuse. Yeah, you never know. It's like roulette with that. I don't know. I've seen so many times where I'm like, huh, is that a fuse or a cap? Because when they make them white like that, it's so strange. All right, so powered on. It's starting to pull some current. No, it's not. 0.2. I think power. Oh yeah, there we go. It's pulling current now. Okay, so we have 20 volts right there. No. Where's my ground? There we go. No. Hold on. I need a better ground. Try it again. Okay, 20 volts. 20 volts coming out. Okay, so we have that. So now let's just measure where the rest of these pins are supposed to be. So 0.05 there. 0.05, so 0 basically there. That's our 20 again. This is a little bit different actually. You can see that it's just laid out just a tad different. 3.8. So 3.8 is the AC adapter detect. So let's go look at that circuit. That is, I believe, right here. Right there. So, I'm going to plug this in again. I just want to see if we're getting our AC adapter to detect power. It's basically just a voltage divider, takes the 20 volts and then produces 3.8 volts and sends that over just to say that the AC adapter is there, present. And that's what this is. So we should have 20 volts. We got 1.4 volts here. And I actually don't know if this is produced before or after this is produced, but if it's pulling, this is a ground. So this would be 20 volts here going high through this diode, and it would come through here. But we're not getting 20 volts there either. Man, this one's getting me already. Anyone have an answer for me? Poof, an epiphany? Because I'm trying to think. It makes me just want to jump the circuit, I'm telling you. That's what's... Yeah, Soren would be very proud of me just jumping the circuit. And we definitely can do that. Screw it, let's do it. So all we need to do is connect here to here. Let's go. I got my handy dandy tweezers. I will unplug the AC adapter. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. 0.05, 0.07, and the board's coming on. Did you see that? Okay. So the board's coming on if we bypass this. So why is this not coming on? Why is this one not coming on? And why is the other one not coming on? Well, they probably all have something in common. Probably some sort of enable line or some sort of power supply line that goes to it. But we need to know where that is. We need to know where that is. Now, I wasn't super concerned about doing that jumping, by the way, because the board works. Again, so we got to think about it like this. The board is powering off the battery. We get the Dell screen, we get everything. It's just not getting the power to where it needs to go. So that's why you can do things like that. Yeah, old-timey Soren would take this chip right here and just flip it around and put it back on. Right, he would actually do that on MOSFETs. He did that all the time on MOSFETs. He's like, I don't know why this isn't working, but I'm just going to flip this around and put it back on there. It's like, okay. I mean, I really like the logic in it, though. That's the way you have to think about it. If you're doing a board repair, they are super complicated. They're hard to... There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things that need to work together. And if you don't know how to at least emulate what it's trying to do, then how will you expect to fix it, right? So that's what we just did. We just emulated or faked it till we made it to get that voltage there. But I'm waiting for someone in the comments, and maybe you guys are giving me some good stuff in the comments, but I'm having a hard time keeping up with it. Waiting for someone to tell me what pin it is here that I'm missing. So we're going to try again. I'll plug it back in. I'm going to measure our main power, our battery charge coil right here. I want to see 12.6 come on here, so I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to jump our thing again. And I have it plugged in. 3, 2, 1. Good popper. And we got our 12.5 volts on that main power rail, and the board is booting up. You see that? And yes, it will spark. That's why I have to go a little fast. So, did the board stay on after that? Nope, shut back off. So what are we missing, guys? What are we missing? They are going to come in peace. Alien expert. Let me drink some coffee. Let me, here, I'm going to switch to this camera real quick. Let's chat for a minute, and while I'm thinking about this, because you have to kind of go back to it. It's not EC because the board's coming on. I mean, I guess it could be EC. I don't think it's EC. I just don't. EC to the PD. EC to the PD. It could be a PD issue, actually. Yeah, maybe. So the PD is going to create an LDO, and maybe that's what's missing. The power management chip could be the power management chip, except the voltage isn't getting to the power management chip. So that's what whenever I was thinking like, oh, it's probably going to be a power management chip issue. Well, the voltage isn't even there yet. And then if we jump that one chip, then the voltage gets to the power management chip and everything works. So can't be that. We could be missing a signal from the PD controller. Now, would we be missing it on both? No. But if it's being pulled low because one of the PD controllers are shorted, what are the specs on this? This is probably a Xeon processor of some sort with a, I don't know, one of the professional NVIDIA chips, T1000 or something. Change that MOSFET. Well, I just changed this. It's not really a MOSFET, but it's a type of switch. I guess it is a MOSFET, but I already changed this one over here, and it didn't fix it. So this one has a P2000. Yeah, there you go. So I don't think it is that. I mean, we could change one more just for good measure, just to kind of rule it out, right? So potential lightning strike, maybe. Usually, I just think it's aftermarket charger time. I mean, this... Well, I guess this does have a real Dell serial number on it, so it just feels a little weird. If it's an aftermarket charger, that all day you could be burning these things out. Do not buy fake chargers. They suck. Okay. Let's do one more of those chips. Just for good measure. See if this one has a couple more. Yeah, this one has a pair. So we have two more here. So we'll just grab one of those and put it over. I mean, it's very rare that I've seen. You know what it could be? Let's change out all three. Let's change out all three. So what I'm thinking now is that what do they all have in common? And what are they all missing? Well, I don't know exactly what it is, but if one of those chips are actually damaged, it could be messing up it for all three of them, right? It could be pulling an enable line low or a power line low or something like that if one of those chips are bad. And so by replacing all three of them, we eliminate the chance that one will be interfering with the other. Okay, that's what we're doing. So let's pull these other two off. If that made sense, we will see. Yeah, cascade failure. Now, you know, it could be something where it's like if we had chosen the right one, the first one or something that was bad, and then it fixed all three of them, that would have been lucky, I guess, but we don't know which one it would be if it is one of them. Just remove the other ones with the thermal camera. You want to see some thermal action? Ooh, look at all that heat. We can put you in a double mode here so you can see it at the same time. Okay, that one's off. That one's off. You know what we could do is we could actually plug in the charger on the other side now and see if it actually works with these things off of here. So it's not pulling low anymore. If it is, that was the issue. That would be fun. Here, I'm going to do that real quick. I just want to see. All right, so this is the one with 2 ports. We just took those 2 chips off of there. This is the one with 1 port, and then that chip's still on here that controls that one. So if it was the other ones causing the issue, then it would be, this would work. This one acts weird though. See, it shouldn't take so long to negotiate. You see, I was like at 5 volts for a little while and then jumps up. I mean, it is a different PD controller chip, but that's strange. So that didn't, my theory is probably out the window at this point, but we're just going to change out the other 2 just for good measure anyway. They're missing the enable. Please trace and check back to the power rail on it. I know they're probably missing it. Here. We're going to let this guy run the show here. If I had a board view, I could just click the button and I would know exactly where all of it is. All right, so I have the charger plugged in. I'm measuring right here. Okay, we have our 20 volts coming in, and then this would be 3.2. This is something. I don't know what it is. That's something. This would be the output, which is not going to have anything, obviously. That's 3.1 volts, which is an awesome value. And then this one is, see, I don't have a 5 volts. I mean, we're definitely missing the 5 volts, wherever that is. I need a freaking pinout, man. Let me see if I can find a schematic. Let me pull up schematic and see if we can just get a pen out of that real quick. Give me a second. Pretty irritated, though. Um, 191P. Yep. All right, so this is for the 5550. All right, you can see it. Okay, good. So this is for the 5550, not the 5560, what we're working on. And the chip number we're looking for is, can't remember now. Hopefully the numbers are the same. PU2508. Come on, I hate this viewer. I never use this viewer. Let me try a different viewer here. Open with. Okay, so we have 3 of them. S1, S2, S3, okay? And it says the pin out is going to be, we have VN, VN, V out, V out, right? So here's our 20 volts right here. This is what we've been measuring. Enable, so this is where we should have our, I'm assuming 5 volts. And then this is probably that 3.3, this is tied to ground. So those are grounded together. So pin 5 is what we're looking for, and then SS, and this is our LDO. So we had our LDO, I'm pretty sure. So pin 4 we should have 3.3, and pin 5 we should have probably 5 volts is what I'm thinking. Okay, so let's measure that. All right. Let's see, pin 1's here. So pin 1 and 2, right? 3, 4, so this was our 3.3. Do the plug in the charger first. This should be our 3.3. Wait a minute. And then this is our 4, which should be 5 volts. So we're missing both of those. And let me put the chips back on with the new ones, and then we'll figure this out. Okay, so this one actually has 3.2 on here, which we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's our enable, but our LDO is not on. So we're missing 3.3 LDO, which I thought was that chip that's getting hot, right? Wasn't it this hot, this chip? It was producing the 3.3. But it's also producing out of the PD controller, right? Do we just have a bad PD controller chip? Let me put these back on. You changing the title there, Dave? Are you changing it to not fixing this laptop? Oh my gosh. How long have we been doing this? We're at it for an hour. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to pull these chips off and we're going to move them over. I smell 0 ohm resistor. You smell PD controller is what you smell, right? Yeah, we'll start measuring around all that stuff around the PD controller in a second. And then I have PD controllers for both, so we can just change both of those out. I mean, you know, at this point we might be guessing, but I don't. And what I like to do sometimes is I can just put that 3.3 there and see if it comes on, and that's probably what we'll end up doing too. So I'm going to pull that off. So these are going to be our replacement chips, just in case, just to rule that out. Good. Perfect. Watching Nathan struggle. There you go. That's perfect. Yeah. Do it. I don't mind. This is real world, man. It's not always unicorns and rainbows. I try to, the best I can at least, make sure that you guys understand that it's not easy all the time. And I don't fix every single repair. There's been plenty of them that I have not fixed. It's one of those things that, you know, the YouTube will make everything look easy. It'll make it look like anybody can fix it. And then somebody they're like, want to get into the repair industry because they watch my videos, and I'm like, I don't know. It's a tough business. It's a grind for sure. Okay. All right, I'm satisfied with those. Input pins, 11 and 12 pins, and then the K11 look like. Yeah, I mean, those two boards are the same, right? The J191P and the K441P are very similar boards. They're just 1 year apart. So I usually just kind of say they're the same, but I mean, they're different. But they're just... Oh my gosh, he's not 100% successful? I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud, man. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I fixed 5 machines yesterday, and one of them I could not fix the board because I had a shorted chipset. And then today, I didn't do that many repairs today, but I think I did 2 or 3. I had a lot of other stuff going on. Okay. Not the same IC, just the same pin out. Oh, okay. All right, and I put these on the right direction. I just want to double check real quick so we don't release the magic smoke. Pin 1's there, see a dot. Pin 1's there, see the dot. Okay, so everyone concur. Time to plug it in. We'll just see if we happen to get something different, but we're getting the same thing. All right, so the next thing is we're missing 3.3 LDO, right? Is what we determined based on the schematics, because we were getting this. This is the enable. Is that, well, why is it only 2.5? Maybe because the chip's not powered on. So it's missing this 3.3 right there. So let's give it what it wants. I'm gonna just inject 3.3 right there and see if the machine comes on. So that's the next thing I like to do, is if it's missing a power, then I'll usually put the power there. So we're on 3.2. Let's get rid of that. Okay. So you can see 3.2 is there. I'm going to put the current limit down to wherever it is. I'm using the wrong probes. I'm like, why is this not working? Yep, inject. Yeah, we're going to inject voltage, but we're not injecting it in the purpose of trying to short something or try to find a short. We're injecting it to try to emulate an LDO power line. And I would just steal it from the 3.3 enable that's supposed to be right next to it, but it's getting pulled low because I guess it doesn't have enough power on there. So, ooh, bourbon. You guys bringing up bourbon again? Whew, don't get me started. Right now I'm drinking, I got a bottle of Noble Oak, Double Oak. It's so good. It is so good. First time I've had it. I do like the double oaked bourbons. Okay, so we're setting this to 1.5 amps. No, we'll go down to like, I was doing like 170 milliamps. Okay, here we go. So I will put that right here. Look at this huge tip. I'm going to put that right there. So it's pulling nothing. Now I'm going to plug in the charger and we'll see if the board comes on. And we're getting nothing. You can't see the charger. It's still sitting there doing the same thing. And it's not pulling any current out of the power supply. So kind of strange. Not what I expected, I can tell you that. I expected it to fire up. Okay, let's go hunting for where that is. Oh yeah, the cigars. Yeah, that's right. I like having I had a cigar last week. Yeah, it does go good with a cigar. You'll bring the beer? Yeah, I drink beer occasionally. I used to drink a lot more of it, but I don't. It's just kind of heavy, and I don't drink until late generally, so I don't want to have all those empty calories or carbs or whatever it is. Can it be a BIOS issue? No, because the machine comes on. Again, so let me just show you, like, oh, you remember we just bypassed that and it came on too. So let me look at the schematic again. All right, so again, what we had, this is our these are our outputs, 1 and 2. So we're looking at 1 and 2. We weren't getting anything there. And then 4 was supposed to be our LDO, and that's missing. And then 5 was our enable. And that's there. But it's a little bit low. It's like 2.5, but when we had no chip on there, it was 3.3. And then these are supposed to be grounded together. And then these are not connected. I'm not sure what this is. Does someone know what this is? The EXP and then SS. That's going to ground through a cap. And then that's really it. There's not much to this chip. And again, what we did to kind of power the machine on, just to bypass it, we just jumped right across here, and then the machine came right on. So we know that these chips are not coming on. There's 3 of them. But why? I don't know. I don't know. So, exposed pad, that's what expo means. Still kind of thinking PD controller, okay. All right, let's change out the PD controllers just because if the LDO is missing and the PD controller is supposed to create it, let's do it. Yeah, you've been saying it, I know. it's a BGA chip, I hate it. Let me see if I have a new one. If I have a new one, then it'll be easier. Is active low? Really? Huh. He's saying it's an active low. Well, I don't know. That is strange. I don't know. Let's do PD controller. What number is it again? CYPD 62279 6BZXI. 6227. 6227. I'm digging through my box here. My box of brand new chips. Although mine are actually brand new chips. 6227. All right. 6227 96BZXI. 6227 96BZXI. And the T just means it's on from a tape. So it's just been cut from a reel. That's all the T is. So we have one. So that's going to make our life a little bit easier. SS stands for soft start. So what would that mean? I'm still confused about this active low enable, because what would be pulling it high, and then we put 3.3 on that line and it didn't pull any current. No, these are all ordered from Mouser, by the way. You can see the sticker. So these are all official Mouser chips. And I just order every single chip I can. Internally pulled high. Oh, okay. AL is 1.2. AL. Okay, so this is active low and internally pulls high, so it can't be floating or something. But how does it know when to turn on then? So basically when it has voltage here, it should come on, then it should be working. Although this was low. You remember that 3.3 was, when we had the chip on there, it was 2.5. So I mean, there's something wacky. So yeah, it's probably just a messed up LDO. Okay. All right, let's get this other one off of here. Ooh, am I running low on these? I only got a couple left. I'm struggling. Every day I'm struggling. When I start singing, you know I'm really struggling. I'm going to protect this connector that's right next to it. This fan connector, which is going to be so much fun to protect because it's right next to it. So we're going to put some super thick Kapton tape on it. All right. Yeah, I start getting a little loopy. If you haven't been on my stream in a while, or is this your first time, I get a little loopy because, yeah, 7:30, it's 7:30 Central right now, PM. I got to work this morning at 7:35. So in about 3 minutes, I'll be here for 12 hours. So yeah, I do get loopy around this time. And my mind doesn't usually, it's not the sharpest tool at this time. That's why I was thinking a Sunday morning stream, it might be nice because then I'm not like exhausted. I get delirious. So I'm going to put, so I have two pieces of this Kapton tape on here, which is a 2 mil thick. It's pretty thick stuff. And this is real too. I buy this from Uline. And then I put this copper tape on there. That's going to also help kind of shield it a little bit. We can do whatever we can because the heat, we're going to try to blow the heat away, but it's going to hit the side of it a little bit anyway, but I just don't want to mess that up. And then what I usually do on top of that reflective piece of metal is I put another piece of Kapton tape, but just the thinner, bigger sheets. And that's a little bit overboard, but I just don't want to have to deal with melting that connector. And we'll let this one fold over the edge just a little bit. Like that. There we go. Okay, so that was a lot of work. Took a little extra time, but It's worth it. Yeah, remember this is all fake AI stuff. And my YouTube short voice is all fake too, apparently. That's what everyone thinks. I got an email from a customer, or from a guy who says, oh, he loves my videos, but he wishes I would use a real voice in my shorts. And I'm like, that's my real voice. It's just, I'm using my announcer voice. New day, new laptop to repair. You know, it's like the really kind of just over animated is really what it is. But it makes it highly engaging. People like it. And what do we have here? All right, so this is the BGA chip. If you don't know what it is, BGA stands for ball grid array. So all the connections are underneath the little balls, and it's kind of floating on that. So we have to be, I'm going to try to be, you know, you have to be careful. You have to heat it up all the way. I don't want to rip a pad. We're going to take this off, move it out of the way. These new chips are going to come pre-balled already, so we should be able to just install it really quickly. Yeah, I don't let the haters get me. I'm not worried about it, that they're, it's just, sometimes I just think it's kind of funny. It's like, they think they got it all figured out, and I'm like, no, that's not what's going on here. So I'm going to preheat this a little bit. I got the whatever this thing is called, the hot air station. I have it at 450 degrees C at 60% air. I'm going to try to heat up the board in this area over here. I'm going to try to stay away from our connector, and I'm going to come over here at the last second. And so if we just kind of preheat the board in this area first. So now I can put some flux on here, and it should melt right underneath it, just the way I like it. There we go. And I'm using my Amtech 213, which is my favorite stuff. I'm not using the perfume or lotion smelling stuff that we tried the other week. Has anyone tried that stuff yet? The Northridge Fix, the NF Flux, it smells like lotion. It smells weird. All right, so now we have enough heat over here. Now I can come and do some direct heat. And I'm still trying to blow the air away from this connector. And once we get it moving, so it's tap moving, I'm just gonna be able to lift it up. There we go, got it out of the way. And it is off. And that's actually a perfectly clean pull. So if we were gonna do the transplant process where we pull a chip from another board, we could have done it this way because we pulled it off perfectly. We have half the balls there, and all the rest of the balls are on this side. But because we have brand new chips, we don't need to do that. Oh, actually, this one, I guess I didn't let it dry long enough. Doesn't really matter. We're going to call that one a bad one anyway. So now we got to clean all this flux off of here. Yeah, mad respect for doing board review or board repair. You know, it's even harder because, I mean, I know a lot of people would not ever do this or attempt to do this, especially live, because they don't want to fail. I don't care. I don't care about that. It is what it is. It's all part of life, and all you can do is put your effort in, and that's how it happens, how it works. I actually enjoy doing this and hanging out with you guys, my supporters. When I got into doing this, I had no desire to be behind the camera or have anything to do with this. And I'm not a public speaker, by the way, either. So I'm getting better at this overall. And I have to ramble on for hours. And I'm starting to get a Twitch community too, which is crazy. 38 viewers on Twitch. We got 842 on YouTube though. I have not broken 1,000 on YouTube yet. We've gotten up to, I think, 920 or something. So what we're doing next is I'm going to remove all these solder balls off of here because we want this to be completely flat because the chip's going to have all the balls on it. So I'm not pushing down hard. I'm trying to do it as soft as possible. And we're just going to try to pick up the solder. We don't want to scrape away any of the pads. Got to be very careful. Okay. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be absolutely flawless, but so I'm just going to clean this off. I see one spot that I want to clean up a little bit more. Right there. Solder. I know. Solder. I can't say solder. I say solder. Solder. Okay, that's good. Okay. Yeah, you should have watched me try to reball a BGA chip the other week. It was brutal because I kept having issues. But we're not going to have to do that tonight. So we have a brand new one. Brand new chip. There we go. Which way does it go? There's our dot. And where's our pin 1 dot? It's right here in this corner. Look, it landed exactly where it needs to go. So that's our pin 1, that's our pin 1. And then we also have marks on the board, so it's even easier. So we just line that up like so. And then I'm going to put my tweezers right here on the board. I'm going to press down on the board, but not on the chip. I'm just kind of holding it where it doesn't fly away. And then we'll come in here with some heat. So I'm not pressing down on the chip, just on the board. And all I want to do is heat this board just enough where it tacks itself. Now I'm going to move away. Let it cool. Okay, and now that it's just kind of tacked there, and then now I'm going to come back with it some more heat and some more flux and just let it seat down in the right spot. And if you look closely, you'll see the chip actually move whenever it sits down in the right spot, the right position. There it goes. Did you see that? Ooh, that was satisfying. So now you see it kind of rocking around. And there we go. Basic garbage agony. Nice. Nice. That's funny. Okay, so do we want to change the other one out too? Or should we try on this one? The other one's on this side, and this is going to be a QFM. It's a different chip altogether. So the one that's a BGA handles 2 ports. This one only handles 1 port, and it's just a QFM. So we have these 2, I think. We should change them both out because they're working together. They have conversations together, or we can just plug it in and test. What do you think? Vote? Should we do a poll? Should I replace the second one first? Should I replace the other PD controller before testing, or should I just test it right now? Test now? Okay. But that's whenever the mods are supposed to create a poll for me. Just to try. It takes 1 second. Okay, yeah, you're right. Let me take all my tape off of here. Oh, replace the other controller. There we go. We have our polls going. Look at that. That was so cool. Thanks, Dave. Okay, so so far the consensus is 70%, 100% no on Twitch. Twitch wants instant gratification. They want to get it right now. They want to know. Okay, we got 1 yes on Twitch. We only have 44 people on Twitch, so you guys, you're going to have to step up and vote, all 44 of you guys, because we only have, what, 6 votes on Twitch? Come on. 7 votes now? We got 145 votes on YouTube. This is not a competition, but it is a competition. Okay, 14 votes on Twitch now. And we just had 3 people leave because of this poll, because I demanded them vote. Okay, but the consensus is no, do not replace the other one first, so let's just plug it in. I'm going to call it because we got enough people. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's plug it in. Instant gratification, go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so what we're looking for, power meter is going to pull, it's going to go to 20, and it's going to start pulling some amps. And it's just sitting at 5 volts. I'm sure I'm glad that we didn't change the other one out now. Very glad, because we just changed it out and now it's worse. Let me reflow it again. What could have happened there? Now it's worse. Yeah, when it's at 5 volts, it means that it's not like negotiating properly. So let me protect this little guy again. I'll just reflow it, make sure that it's actually sat there properly. Yeah. And the chip should be good because it's brand new. Brand new. But the other thing is that these chips need to be programmed, so this should self-program itself, but there could be a possibility that I should be putting I'm pretty sure that I put these chips on here and they worked without having to program them. I can't remember. Can't remember. Although this machine does power on. Let me do the other side real quick. So this is the other side, and it goes to 20 volts. But it's staying at 0.15 instead of 0.18 it used to. How do you program one? There's a chip inside of it. I mean, there's a BIOS on the board, and so when the board comes on, it programs it. So now it's stuck at 5 volts. Okay, so we're just going to reflow it just in case we don't have a connection there. Or did we knock a chip? We could have knocked something off the board too. There's nothing over here to knock off. All right, so reflowing is just heating it up, trying to melt the solder, and then the solder, and then moving it around just to make sure it's seated in there properly. I usually tap them, and I didn't tap it this time, so and I was so happy when it just jumped into place. Just give it an old tap, good old college try tap. And then we'll have to pull it back off and have more fun. Okay. That was a lot of good taps. So I'm just letting it cool off. Maybe it's because I didn't clean up after myself. Old tappy tap. Maybe it doesn't like that I was messy and just left all that flux on there. Get in your home. Did y'all see that second movie? The Adam Sandler movie? I didn't see it yet, but the expectations have been set very low for me now, so when I do see it, I feel like it should be probably pretty good. All right, so I'm going to plug it in now. Still at 5 volts. Not a fan of it being stuck at 5 volts. Yeah, Happy Gilmore is what I was talking about. Thanks. I don't know. That's a weird one now. Sorry, I'm flipping it around. Here, I'll give you overhead so you can see what I'm doing. This is that single port, and that it takes forever to get to 20 volts. That's so weird. This is annoying. So the next plan of action on this is going to have to pull that chip back off. And what I'd probably do, just to kind of make sure that we remove the tape, yeah, make sure I'm not shorting out the board with this piece of metal on here. That's what you mean? Let me make sure I didn't smear any of the chips on the other side. I didn't even think about that with all my tape. Because sometimes, the tape, everything melts and just kind of moves around. That all looks good. Don't see an issue there. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know. So what I was going to say, the next plan of action would be to change out the PD controller chip again, but with one that's from a board, an actual board that's been running the right firmware, and assuming that it's not programmed or something like that. For the life of me, I don't think, I mean, I've used 5 of these, or 4, this would be the 5th one. So, I mean, is there a chance that every single one of those? Yeah, I think taking off a donut board might be the best bet. We can try to do a clean pull, too. Or we can put the old one back on. Is there a solder ball or 2 underneath? I mean, there could have been. There could be. Oh, all right. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's find a board that does negotiate. Power information chip. It's not the power management chip. So we need to find a board that does negotiate the 20 volts. That this one's already missing some chips. Let's plug this one. So this one's negotiating. So we know the PD controller chip's working on this side. What about this side? And that's not doing anything. All right. So this board, we could just steal the PD controller chip if we want. I can tell you right now that the next repair is probably going to be a real struggle too if we switch to the Alienware. Whew. Because that story that customer told me, or whatever's on the note, basically saying that the his cable modem blew out and all the neighbors around him and all their cable modems blew out, and it probably came through the Ethernet port and blew out the board. That's going to be a difficult one anyway. So I don't think moving to another one's going to be any easier. And sometimes you get the hard ones, man. That's what it is. It's definitely a weird, hard one. I'm going to pull this back off. Thanks, Dave. Yes, if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing and doing all that fun stuff to the stream. If you like what I'm doing. I also have memberships now, so you can become a coolest fan, or you can be part of the donor board member. You can be a donor board member, and I just started doing that a couple weeks ago. If you want to support what I'm doing here. So I'm going to pull this chip back off. 1.21 gigawatts. BIOS error, maybe? I don't think the BIOS is even communicating with that chip. I don't know. If it was easy, it would be boring. That's correct. 100,000% correct. Yeah, I like things that are really hard, things that are unobtainable. I ditched the poll, thanks. Yeah. I like things that are unobtainable. Things that are really hard that you spend a lot of time on, that almost you can never even accomplish, but if it was just easy, it would just be no fun. So, all right, we're gonna try to do a clean pull on this so we can just do a donor. So, I'm gonna wait for it to start moving. Okay, it's moving. There we go. All right, so the idea with that is just to kind of pull it straight up, try to get it where we leave all the pins perfect. And there was nothing touching. So you see that? So it even was soldered perfectly. So there has to be something wrong with this. What does it say? USB-C jack, PD60, and switch, charge bucket to the battery. Oh, interesting. Well, there you go. So it definitely has to be this, right? I'm going to put this off to the side because this should be a good chip. I'm just going to save it. Do I have more of them over here? What's this one? I have more of these. That's what's funny. I mean, it's a different model, but I bet all of these need to be programmed. I almost bought a Cypress programmer, and I didn't do it because I was like, oh no, I don't think they need to be programmed. Yeah, I bet they do. So I think that's what these programming headers are for. I just haven't figured out how to use it yet, so we'll figure it out. So let's just pull one off the donor board. Every day I'm struggling. All right. Look at this, this is a different chip. So this board's basically the same board, but it actually has a different chip. You can see the layout's a little different over here too. Like the fan connector's right there, but this one doesn't have the fan connector. So we're gonna have to find a different board that has it. So I'm gonna keep looking. So this was the 741, this is the 191. This is the 9500, that's the 9510. Add note, yeah, to reprogram chip. I'm always trying to find new things to accomplish, so reprogramming one of these chips might be fun. Let's see what board this is. Okay. This one looks good. Looks like the right one. Let me see if the PD controller works on it. So it negotiated 20 volts and it's just sitting there at 0.02. That one negotiates 2, so both of those are good. Hey, thanks for the follows. Appreciate it. And this port still doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to pull this chip off and then we'll transfer it over there. We're going to have to do a clean pull again, so we have to pull it straight off or else we're not going to be able to transfer it over without reballing, which is not something I want to do right this second. All right. Oh, another sip of coffee real quick. Okay. So I'm not even gonna, I'll just put a little piece of tape on there, but I'm not gonna super worry about that, connecting that, or protecting, oh, you can't even see what I'm talking about. This fan connector, I'm not really that concerned about it. He loves reballing, you know, it's just, you don't have the exact, if I don't have the exact stencil, it's really hard to reball something, you know, so you're using these generic stencils. And I did buy, actually I bought something that NanoFix had, I think NanoFix got it maybe? Let me see if I can grab it, let me show you. What did I do with it? Ah, so these are pretty cool. This is just a sidebar while I'm taking a break from this. So these are reballing jigs, and NanoFix had gotten, I think it was NanoFix. I don't know, I can't remember now, but, and so it has 2 layers here. This is a row of magnets, and then you put a CPU in here, because I haven't done a CPU before, but I'm gonna experiment with it. And this is for 6th and 7th gen CPUs. And then here's the stencil, and then it magnetizes on here, so it actually creates a lot of pressure. And then you could just put your solder paste on there, and it's a direct heat. So that's that one, and then these are, I got a couple more for 20 series, 10 series. Oh yeah, this is for a 1660 Ti, a 2080, a 2070, and a 2060. And then an RTX 3060. So anyway, I've never done it. I don't really want to do it as like a service, by the way. So don't send in anything to have that done. But it would be nice to have that in the back of my arsenal in case it needs to be done, like under an emergency situation, like, you know, someone's BitLocker key is in there or something, you know, and they have to have the CPU replaced. And, but again, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I would probably charge a lot more because it doesn't seem like it'd be worth it to do it under my regular motherboard repair fee. All right, rant over. I actually regret telling you about that. I don't want people contacting me for that. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret. I haven't even done it one time yet, so I don't even know. Two hours of streaming plus 10 hours of work. Yeah, no, 12 hours of work, yeah. Or yeah, I guess I started at 6, yeah. You're right. But yeah, we're 2 hours in. We'll probably do another hour, hour and a half. I have fun. You guys enjoy it, hopefully, so that's why I'm here with you. So we'll be fairly, protective of that, but I'm just going to, again, do our same little thing. We heat the board over here. No! Frisky, don't! No, no! Frisky says, what's your address? I'm putting a label on in the box now. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. I have some boards set aside right now that I'm going to investigate with. Okay, so the chip's moving. If you can see it moving now. So I'm going to move away, let it cool back off. I want to put my tweezers in place. Don't move it. Okay, now we're going to reheat it again. This is how we do a clean pull. It's moving again. I'm going to lift it right. Oh, no, I bumped it. Straight up. I don't know. We have a little smear. Hopefully it's not bad on the other side. Or else it's going to be my nightmare. Hey, it looks pretty good. I would say that's pretty good. That looks pretty good. We're okay. Were you guys stressed for a second? All right, so we will line this up this way, like that. We put some flux on there, fluxity flux flux. Smear that around a little bit. All right, so we're gonna get that lined up just where we want it. It's a little harder when there's balls on both sides, so that's why you really need to get it lined up good. Okay, right about there will be fine. So I'm just going to heat it until the balls start to melt. Just a little bit. Okay, move away. Okay. Okay, here we go. We got frame dropping? No, we don't have any frame dropping. I have not a single frame drop tonight. Very happy with that. But we do get some stuttering sometimes because of this new stupid computer. Okay, did you see the chip just land in place? And we tappity tap tap. Okay. Let it cool off. All right, I'm just gonna let it cool naturally. Let it do it slowly. Let it do it bellissimo. The stream should be good tonight. You may have some stuttering, like if we're on my face cam here. It seems like it stutters when I kind of move back and forth sometimes, which is kind of strange. I don't get it. And then we'll have this other view, which I like. Movie with Arnold. Yeah. Yeah, what movie was that? I just quoted a movie quote or whatever. Did anyone get it yet? Do it slowly. Do it bellissimo. Jamie Lee Curtis is also in it. No? Nobody? We got one person. True Lies. Thank you. Boom. True Lies. Yeah. And it's funny because I tried to rewatch that, I don't know, a year ago or something. And it wasn't as good as I remember it being. But it's like the vet gets them wet, right? The car salesman. The vet gets them wet. I remembered it being entertaining, but I was younger. I want to go back and watch Total Recall. I haven't seen that in a long time. I know that's another movie that's probably not as good as I remember it being. So I'm procrastinating plugging in the charger. Let me just clean this very thoroughly. Let me make sure that it's spotless before we plug this in. Okay. All right, so we have it all cleaned up. We have the donor chip put on there this time, so we're assuming that the other chip was just not programmed, and then we plug it in. Are we ready? Drum roll. 3, 2, 1. 20 volts. and the same thing. So it's not PD controller on this side at least. But we do know that the PD controllers need to be programmed apparently. So we're only pulling these donor boards. We're only pulling them. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have the same result again. What is that you're saying? You just want me to jump those chips with a wire? And then the board will be fixed? Is that what I hear you saying? I don't do that, but that would be funny. So if we do it this way, and I plug it in this way, and the PD controller says 5 volts for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then goes up, don't we think that that one might have an issue? Because if we plug in one of these other boards, I just pressed a button on my keyboard. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up. It should be pretty instantaneous. See how fast that was? We're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3. 5, 20. You see that? And then this one's going 1, Mississippi, 2, Mississippi, 3, Mississippi, 4, Mississippi. Then it goes up. So do we think that we must have a bad PD controller on this side? Please trace the enable. Okay, gosh. Man, so demanding. He's like yelling at me. Okay, all right. You want me to trace it? You want it? You want it? All right. So we're in continuity mode, where we touch the probes together and it beeps. So the enable line that this one, or it's this one actually, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enable was on, but it's supposed to be active low. So you're saying if I just pull that low, it should turn on? Right? Is that what you're saying? I feel like that's what you're saying. Because so you peep your probes like, oh my gosh, you guys. I love to probe aliens. All right, so I want to figure out where this goes. So it goes through a via right here. And does it connect to this one automatically? So those aren't tied together. Can you guys see that? Is my framing good enough for you? So the enable pin on this one and the enable pin on this one are not tied together, okay? What about the LDOs? They're not tied together. Those are grounds. That's a ground probably. These are tied together right there. The inputs are not tied together, I don't think. Nope. And then this pin, is it tied together? Nope. Nope. Okay, so, but the question is, where is that pin 5 going, right? Which is that enable, which we're getting a signal on there. We're getting 3.3 or whatever. And so you're saying that that's an active low, so we need to pull it low and it should turn on, right? What brand of flux do I use? I use this stuff that smells like lotion. No, I don't use this. That's Northridge Fix stuff. I also bought this from Northridge Fix, but it's Amtech 213 is my favorite. But you can also get Amtech 559, which I just have it handwritten on here. But I prefer the 213. All right, so we're going to do the via here. So we got enable coming around, where it's going to come through that via, but hopefully it will pop out the other side of the board. I don't know, because I don't have a board view. So it's coming out in this area, right around here. And this is where this chip is, and this is the chip that's getting hot. I don't think we need to change this chip out because, remember when we plugged it in, it actually gets hot under the thermal camera right there. But we could maybe check to see if we have, what if we have a bad diode or something? That'd be funny. So diode mode. I mean, these are all working. Okay, the boss. What did the boss say? Pen 5 enable active low. So Michael, do you want me to short that to the ground to turn on this chip? That's what I'm going to do. We're going active low. So if people don't understand what we're talking about, so an active low means that it needs to be at a ground reference, and an active high means it needs to be at whatever high is. So high would be 5 volts or 3.3. If we measure this pin right now, I have the charger plugged in, by the way. If we measure the pin that is our enable line, it's right now measuring 2.6 volts. When we had the chip not on there, it was 3. So you want me to pull this low, right? I think this is ground right here. So if we short these together, you're going to say it's going to come on, right? Let's do it. Coming in hot. Here we go. Nothing's happening. .6 is wrong. Yes, it is. And it's not, because it should be, it was 3.3 when we didn't have the chip on there. Yeah, so I'm shorting it to ground right now, and so I'm making it active low. And I guess we can measure at the same time, just for kicks. So we're going active low, and the chip is not coming on. Let me make sure we're plugged into the right port. We are. So this it has the 20 volts coming in, and then we have our 2.6, which is weird. Here, we'll plug into the other port, and then we can try to see what this other chip's doing. This chip, the enable is 2.5. And then this is the LDO line that's missing. And that's what we kept talking about, is the LDO line that's missing. But then we've tried to put that there. NB, enable bar, it means inverted. Okay, cool. All right. Plug in the charger again. Plug in the charger while I'm active lowing it? Is that what you want? I can do that. So I'm going to hold that down. I'm unplugging the charger. Oop. Trying to multitask here. Okay. Ready? Oh, 3, 2, 1. I don't see anything happening there. Let me see the output here too. I mean, this should, like, if it was just enabling, it should just turn on, right? So I'm measuring the output. I just want to see if 20 volts comes out the back. 20 volts is not coming out the back. And remember, if I just jump across here, the board turns on, right? So if I just go 1, 2, 3. Oop, we got to do it fast though. There we go. And see, the board's coming on. I can feel the CPU getting warm. It's going to jump up to 1 amp. There it is, 1.4 amps, and it's coming on. So this chip is not coming on. Why? Why? And all 3 of those chips are not coming on. So it's like, it's weird. It's weird. It might be something we need to come back to later. And I'll just, bad CPU, the machine comes on, it goes into the BIOS, everything works on the battery, and it's also working when I'm bypassing that. So we're just missing that signal, but I don't know which signal we're missing, right? So if we go back to the schematic, here's our chip. 20 volts is here. We have 20 volts on both of these lines. We have 2.6 on this line for whatever reason, right? But it's 3.3. If we didn't have the chip on there, it's 3.3 or 3.2. These are ground. This one's measuring nothing. So this is what I feel like we're missing. Do we have, is there a resistor in line? 200K. So that's just pulling it high though. If it has over 200K resistor, that means that this will get pulled low. And then this is a capacitor just to keep that reset on, I guess. And then this, what did we say EXP was again? I can't remember what that was. Control F to see where EB1 goes, okay. So it goes over here. It's tied off the LDO again. 3.3 LDO has a full line right across there. So it has a direct line, doesn't even have a resistor going between it. See that? So we have 3.3, 100K resistor. And then, I mean, maybe this transistor's not coming on right, so it's not being able to flow down the ground. The DCN enable, I bet it's this circuit that's screwed. That's what's wrong. All right, let's find this. So PQ2511 and PQ2572. That looks like it's the issue, right? Oh yeah, so it's the exposed pad, which still doesn't make sense. What is that? Okay, so it was PQ2572. I feel like that's over here somewhere. PQ. 2572, right here. Oh, you know what? I remember changing one of these out before. Okay, so 2572, so it's probably this one. And then the other one is 2511 and then 2575. So 2575, and where's 2511? 2511. Okay, so these are our three that are going to be on that LDO enable line. So one of those could be bad, or one of these resistors could be bad. Right? Does that sound about right? We need to add a ding to get my attention. That's a good point. I like that. I will add a ding to get my attention. So you have my attention. What do we need again? Okay, so I'm going to look back through the chat. 3.3 LDO is missing. Yes, I've been talking about that. But 3.3 LDO is not missing. It's just missing to going to there. So I'm assuming it's here. So because it's coming from that PD controller chip. And also here. So we have this right here is producing a 3.3. This is the LDO that's on here too. And then it's going to be one of these. Let me get the pen out again. Here, so you guys can see that. Wonder, do we have a split screen view? I don't know if that shows what that shows on there. It's not super helpful what we're looking at, but We'll see. Okay, so 25 is 7. So we got pin 3, pin 4, pin 5, pin 6, pin 3, 4, 5. I just want to see if we have our 3.3 on pin 6 of 2572. 2572 is this one. Where's pin 1? Pin 1's there. So pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. Here, I'm going to go back to microscope because y'all can't see all this stuff I'm measuring here. Pin 4, pin 5. So pin 5 has something on it. Pin 5 is coming from over here. So we have 3.3 here. We do not have 3.3 on pin 3, and we don't have 3, well, that's ground. So we're missing it here. So does that mean that, is this an N channel or a P channel? So we have a high here. So where is this PR 2518? 2518. I just want to see. See, we don't have a board value. So 2518, pin 3, 1, 2, 3. This resistor here. Comes over here. This resistor here. Found it. Found the issue, I think. Okay. All right. So, are we on the schematic still? Let me show you what I was looking at, and then we'll go back to schematic. So on the schematic, what I was trying to figure out is, so here's pin 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, and 5. So pin 5, we have 3.2, okay? But pin 3, we have nothing, and 4 should be ground, I believe. So if we go back to schematic, pin 5, we have 3.2. Pin 3, we have nothing, but it should be tied here, right? And then we have ground here. So pin 3, we're not getting anything. So pin 3 is right here. So if I measure right here, we got nothing, right? I measure on this side, we got 3.3. So that 100K resistor, I believe, should be pulling that high. But I mean, I'm assuming this is that 100K resistor because this should be LDO, this via right here. Is that making sense? So that could be a blown resistor. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. $67K. I mean, we're in circuit, so, and if it was 100K with a parallel of something else, but there's nothing in parallel apparently on that circuit, unless you count that other chip. Should we just jump it and see if it turns on? But it should be active low. You're right. Enable low. Right? Is that the one that needs to be low? So this needs to be pulled low. This is what we're missing. Oh wait, no, where it is. This is what we're missing. No, see, I still don't get it, guys. Still don't get it, because if we're saying that this is supposed to be low for it to come on, and it's kind of a weird value. Does it look cracked? Not really. I mean, resistors kind of look like that in general. I mean, I just say, let me just jump it with some tweezers and see what it does, but my meter's frozen. Oh, thank you for telling me. Darn it. Stupid meter. I keep having problems with this. Let me Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. I keep having to unplug the USB. No, it's fine. USB is detected. Yeah, I was having problems with my meter the other day. Okay, there we go. Got the meter going again. All right, so did you not see any of that measurements earlier? Where am I at? I'm not even looking at the right thing. So it's this resistor. So if I measure here, we want to have 3.3 maybe. We got nothing here, but we have something here. I mean, it's a 100K resistor, so that's why it's kind of hard to say. So anyway, I was going to jump it. So keep an eye on the power meter. I was going to jump it. And the board's coming on. No, it's not liking it. It doesn't like that. Did you see it was kind of pulling current, but in a weird way, and it wasn't actually starting up, and it even reset the PD controller? Yeah, I'm shorting the LDO to do that. Yeah, that makes sense. So what am I missing here? What am I missing? Why does my meter keep messing up? I don't know if my USB wire is messed up or something. There we go. I just moved my wire and it started working. Yeah, I think I have a kink. I have another one of these wires. I'll just change it out. Test the donor board. Thank you. See, those are the suggestions I need. You're missing supper. Yes, that's another suggestion I need. You're missing sleep. Yes, that's another suggestion I need. You've been here too long. Yes, that's another suggestion. Okay. We're going to plug this in. Okay, and so this board is a different board because this is a 191. So let's see how different it is. 2575, 2511. Where's our 25? Darn it. So the layout's different. I hate it when the layout's different. All right, so 2511 there, but what we're looking for is a 2572, 2575. 2575 is that one. So 2572 should be nearby it. And the schematic we're actually looking at is that for this other board. 2529, 2501. So is it on this side of the board? Sometimes I do that. 2572. Try replacing the resistor and see what it does. Yeah, I could. Let's just measure. Well, actually, I need to find that resistor first. That's what I was going to say. Let's just measure it. Let me grab another board that is exactly the same. Oh, man. Measuring the 191 is irrelevant as the power switch I see is different. But the schematic we're looking at is for the 191. That's what's funny. So this should be the same board. Yes, so this is the same board. And there's our little resistor. So I'm going to measure this in line or in circuit. Our meter working? Yes, okay. So measuring in circuit. Actually, I'll go the other way. So we got 60 on the other board. And this one's measuring 90. It's measuring higher. So do you think it could be? Yeah, the schematics are on the, yeah, it's different. I mean, the board's different. And there is no K411P schematic out there either. Everyone's just like, oh, this one's close. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know it's close. It's definitely different. Do you think we could just have a bad resistor here? So we're measuring 90 in circuit. On the other board, we're measuring 60 in circuit. Check the continuity from pin 3 to the enable. So pin 3 to the enable was 5, right? So we're at 180 ohms, 180 k ohms. And the customer's board, that's the test board. The customer's board is 160 ohms. And then again, when we measure this, oh, we're getting 80K now. So that's the same measurement. So I don't think it's a bad resistor. I just don't think that ISL chip's definitely couldn't be the issue because the board turns on. Unless this thing has a 5-volt LDO. Check the voltage on the board, see if it works. I'm annoyed. I feel like we should do something different because this is boring. If I don't figure it out, it's super boring. It starts getting boring after a little while. I'm like, and then I also need to kind of bench it from my brain just to kind of go like, yeah. Because 2.5 hours and still not being able to fix it is starting to get old. Ugh. And it's a weird one too, because like right now I can make the board turn on. Let's just make the board turn on. We'll jump a wire on across it, right? It doesn't need the battery at all. Okay, it's not boring. Okay, perfect. Thank you. These don't need batteries to turn on. And we also tried it with the battery. The board works with the battery plugged in, right? So, and then if I jump it, it works. And then if I have it in combination, it doesn't change anything. Getting quite expensive to fix, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Some of these repairs take a long time. All right, so somebody is going to tell me, check the voltage on the donor board, enable, and LDO pins. So I'll show you what it is. So let me get lined up, make sure this works. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to plug it in. So we're going to start, this is the donor board, okay? All right, so I'm going to plug it in. It's plugged in. So pin 3, pin 2. Wait. This donor board, we just stole the PD we just stole the PD controller off this board. Look, we don't have a PD controller on this one. Let me grab a different one. Luckily, I have stacks of these. All right, so we want the 191 board, or the K711. It's a 191. So it's a blue screen of death. Thermal sensor. If it had worked, yeah, that would have been a real story. That would have been immaculate conception. If it would have just turned on without the PD controller. God, these are all these other board part numbers. So PU2507 is hot and the LDO line is missing. The regulator itself might be degrading or damaged. But that thing gets hot on every single board. I've seen it. That's why I didn't go and replace it, because I've done that before. I've wasted my time on that. But you could be right. These are all that other freaking board. You're kidding me. I said I had a stack of them, but I lied. What a liar I am. Aha! Aha! Found one. I don't know what it does. Here's a second one. I just want to make sure I have a plethora of them. Would you say you have a plethora of those boards? You're tapping out? Oh, well, hey, thanks for hanging out for a little while. I should be tapping out at some point, but it would be nice to conquer this. 191. These are all... I'm just going through them all, by the way, just to get that done. Okay, that's another one. 2 more, and that's it. Good night, Sherry. 191. And the last one. Okay, so out of all these boards, I have 3 that are the same board part number. And now I'm going to keep them separate because they are enough not the same. So we have, so that's his board. So let's just plug each one of these in and just see if they power on. So that negotiates, and it just pulls 0.03, but doesn't try to post or power on. But that at least negotiates, so we should get an LDO. This one doesn't negotiate, stays at 5 volts. So that one probably has a bad PD controller or something like that. This one negotiates and sits at 0.02, doesn't try to power on, but at least we should be getting our LDO. Okay. So we'll start with these. And this one already has the back taken off, although it has a heat sink on it, and I don't want it to get distracted, so pull that off. Too invested, don't give up, yes. Moderate amount of these boards, maybe, yeah. Yeah, the 191s, those are the 9100s, or the 9500s, which is the 2020 model, and this is the 2021 model that we're working on right now. So it's just a year newer, 11th gen versus a 10th gen. Okay, so as requested, look at all this flux. Look at evidence has been going on over here. It's just a little bit of residue. I must have worked on this board at some point. You can't even see it. Okay, so as requested, we want to measure the LDO pins pin 3 and pin 5, right? Is that what we want to measure? So pin 3, we got 0. Right here we got 3.3. Pin 5, we got 3.2. 0. And so all that's the same. Oh, we got 2.9 here. We don't have 2.9 on the other one. So pin 6 has 2.9 on it. Let's measure this one. 3.5 here. 3.2. You guys have to remember all this. All right, that's enough remembering right now. So 2.9, 3.2, 3.5, and 3.2. Okay, and that's all on that one little part of the circuit that is definitely different on the schematic, but we can only do what we can do. Okay, plugged in. All right, so I'm just going to go around the edge real quick. 0, 0, 0, 0, and then this is the one we had 3.2 on. Oh, 2.6, not 2.9, but it's similar, okay. And then this one we had 3.5 and 3.2. So we have all that the same. And then the other chip that's in that circuit is over here. This is 2511. So I just want to see what we have here. 0.03. Ooh, that could be a suspect. 0.03, that could be a suspect. 2.6, 0.03. Ooh, I like those .03s seem like something, right? So that was the bad board, or the board we're having an issue with. Here's our donor board, or good board, or whatever we're going to call this one. It's not really a good board, but I think you should measure voltages on pin 4 and 5 of BL000 chip. What chip is that? What in the wide world of sports? Let me finish measuring this real quick. So we're plugged in. Nothing, nothing, nothing. 2.9. We need 2.9 there? Oh, I think we did measure something like that on the other one. Using multimeter, measure voltages at input and output pins of the PQ2572 to verify that the LDO is providing the correct output voltages and compare these readings with expected values. 2572, which one is that? This guy. This is 2572. So you want me to compare using measure the voltages at the input and output pins. Well, this is just a transistor. It's like a double transistor, I think. Based on the schematics, at least, it's showing it as a transistor. So, ChatGPT comment. Yeah, maybe. It actually does sound like a ChatGPT comment. Oh, we should someone paste that into an AI checker. So pin 3, 4, and 5 were the ones that were connected together. So this was the side that was the gate pin, and then this is the drain and source, I believe. I can't remember. So this was tied to ground. This was tied to a pull-up on the LDO. Should we just change out these damn? No, because I would say just change the chips out, but they're like all measuring the same. And then the other thing is like I can sit in here and go around and just kind of measure resistors, you know, because that's what I've done before and been like, oh, okay, well this resistor's not working, right? But it does get old having to do that. But what I want to find is the pin where I can just short it out and it comes on. Mr. Fix-It, glue that sticker. Let's see what else we got. It's a barbecue. Oh, this stuff is all just kind of stickiness, by the way. So if it looks like something on here, this is covered in a sticky film normally. And so it does look like they're all kind of damaged, but they're not. And this is the donor board or the test board anyway. So this is the customer's board. So I'll go back to that for you. But let me look at that schematic one more time. So here's that chip. If we jump from here to here, the board comes on. Okay. This is, I'm being told, is an active low. And right now it's measuring at 2.6 volts or something. And if we pull it low, the chip doesn't come on. So I don't know how that's an active low. And I feel like this right here is missing because we're not getting any voltage here. And so it should be coming from there, right? And then our LDO is here because when we measure on this chip, pin 5, we're measuring voltage. And then on pin 3, we're not measuring voltage here, but if we measure on the other side of the resistor, we're measuring voltage here. And so theoretically, what's happening here is that because this is high, is this going to ground and pulling it low? Or no, the other way around, right? This is pulling high right now, and then because this is high and it needs to be pulled low, if it was pulled low, then it would make this short the ground and then pull that low. Is that what you're saying? So we need to make this thing needs to turn on, right? To make this go low. So this is not working. Enable 0, LDO 3.3. Must be there at the same time to turn on the chip. Okay. So this needs to be low, and this needs to be high at the same time. At the same time. So jumper wire it is? Is that what we're saying? But we're saying that, so pin 5 is this one, and right now it's high. And if we make that low, it should make it low. Why is this one missing then, right now? Is this... Where's that resistor at? Where's that resistor at? But each one would have its own resistor, right? Because that's S1, here's S2, has its own. So 25, PR 2657. Yeah, each one has its own resistor. So there's no way that all three of them have a blown resistor. So it can't be, like, why is this not high? It's an output. What? Because it's coming... You're saying that this chip is producing the LDO? No, that doesn't make sense. DCN. This is the LDO, right? You guys are killing me here. I think I've been here too long. Ugh. It's an output. How are you telling me that's an output? This is so much fun, everyone. 2572 has to turn on for enable low. You're glad you voted for this misery, right? Oh, okay. When you jump the resistor, it should have pulled it low. But yeah, so when I jumped this resistor, what did I do? I can't remember what I did. I jumped this resistor. But what's actually happening is this thing's already grounded right now. Okay? So this right now, because it's high, this is on. So this path right now is saying enable. No, it's not. It's the opposite of that, right? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. It's the opposite. So this is off. Yeah, so if I shorted this, then it should have just... It would have just made that high. Is really what it would have done. I was thinking it was going to short the ground. We need to make this low. Is what we need to do. So we need to pull pin 5 low, and we were going to do it right here by pulling this control bus, whatever, V bus control low. So 2575, pin 2. 2575, pin 2. Right. 2575, that's this one. Pin 2 is this one. It's just, that must be that. I don't see a resistor. Oh, pin 2 is on this side. Wait, there's a resistor here between. Again, the schematic's wrong. Because if they're saying that this is, I'm assuming this is that one right here. And pin 1, pin 2 is here. It's saying pin 2 has a resistor between pin 1 and pin 2. And I'm not seeing that on the schematic. This is A. And where's B at? Must be on another one, right? Wait, why? These chips are shared because they're 6 pin, so only 3 of them are being used because it's multi-transistors. But this is B. That one's B. Where's A? It's not. I don't know. I don't know. This is making me mad. Yes, it's an output. Okay. So if we just short this down, let me measure it real quick. I'm starting to get agitated here. This is usually one that I would end up sleeping on and then think about it when I'm asleep. Is my meter working? Yes. Okay. So pin 1, pin 2, We got nothing on any of these. We got 3.2 on there, and then 3.4 on there. 3.4 and 7 volts. What do we got 7 volts there for? According to the data sheet, it comes from the enable. Or it comes from the PD controller. Well, the PD controller we replaced. What if it's just, I mean, we should have voltage coming all the way over there. Here's our PD controller. But we don't know where this goes because we don't have a freaking board view. By the way, guys, if we had a board view, we could just like pull it up. We press a button. It will show us where everything connects. And this would be like so easy. So easy. I'm just going to check and make sure we don't have some sort of short in this area, just to have fun. That would have been fun if it's shorted the whole time. So I'm just checking some resistors and making sure that we don't have anything being pulled low from a short. So we shouldn't have a short on both sides of one of these. It should only be one side. And all of that is fine. Okay. Yeah, Paul Daniels, he's in charge of the board view software, but he's not in charge of the board views, and they just don't have a board view for this. It just doesn't happen. Short pin 2 and 3. You want me to do it? We're going to short it. Let's do it. I like when someone says to short something together. Let's do it. Okay, we got it plugged in. 2 and 3. Ready? Ready for the sparks to happen? Hold on, I don't have my meter up for me to see. Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right, nothing happened. Now what do you want me to short? I need to know the next thing to short out. Is it worth trying to transplant those? I don't know, because we're getting the same measurement on both. Short QT3. Donde está QT3? QT3 is over here. QT3. Let me see what QT3 is doing here. QT3 is transistor, so pin 1 and 3. You want me to just jump from pin 1 to 3? Okay, let's do it. So pin 1, 2, and 3. So we just need to short these two, right? All right, keep an eye. Bzz. The current went up. I do declare. I do declare. All right, I'm going to reboot it, unplug it, plug it back in. All right, no, the current just stayed there. 19. Jump it. Nope. Nada. Thermal camera. Okay, we can do that. Now what? I mean, that thing's hot, but it's hot on all the boards. I mean, maybe it's not that hot normally. Here, we'll plug in our test board that we were doing. Let me plug that in. See? It's at 40. So this is the test board, and that's getting hot too. This is their board again. I just want to look to see if there's anything subtle getting warm anywhere else, but unplug it, plug it back in one more time. I just want to see. I'm going to look in this area over here. Nope. Let me flip it over. See, these are reflections. I mean, you can see this part getting hot here because it's on the other side of the board. What about the PD chip? Luca, we replaced the PD controller already. The only thing we didn't do, guys, was, and I guess we talked about it, right? We talked about replacing the PD controller on the other side, but we didn't do it. I don't know why we didn't do it. But remember when we plugged this in, we plugged this in on this side, and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it comes up. And so that's why I was thinking, if it is a PD controller LDO blah 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 issue, then it could be that other PD controller doing it. Short pin 3 and 4 now. Okay, we can just keep shorting stuff. I don't mind. I'm not scared. Yeah, the battery does not need to be plugged in. So 3 and 4. Oh, sorry. Okay, 3 and 4 is shorted. What else you want me to short? Yeah, 2572 isn't being driven by logic. No, I don't think it is. Sleep makes a difference. Yes, that's true. Whenever because literally I'll lay in bed and I'll just kind of be like thinking through stuff, and then I'll come in the morning and I'll usually figure it out. Replace the PD controller. Yes, so we've just replaced this one, which is the main one on this side. It's a double, or where am I pointing? That one. So we have a new one on there, but we need to replace the other one. So I would say my next thing would be to change this PD controller out, wherever it is, this one. Times to change the scenery. Yeah, new board. Yeah. I mean, it's a little late to even start the next one. We've been 3 hours on this guy. Woo! So yeah, let me grab let's see what chip number this is. And see if I have one of these. And again, we're not going to do a new one. We're going to do it off a donor board because I think we figured out that we need it to be programmed. And what sucks is you don't know if the ones you're pulling off work or not from a donor board. That's why I try to make sure that they negotiate. Okay, so we're doing a PD 612748LQX. 6128LQX. So let me see if this one. LQX. So that's the right one. Now I want to see if this negotiates 20 volts, and it doesn't. So I don't want to take one that is not negotiating 20 volts on that side. But I don't necessarily want to take one off a board that we have as a good reference either. You know what I mean? So this one, oh wait, how long did that take? Because this is a board, a different board. Ready? 3, 2, 1. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Oh. And it's almost, this board's almost doing that exact same thing as the other one. What the what? Pulling his hair out, I love it. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. That's awesome. Oh. They call me an Alienware expert, not the XPS expert, I guess now. I don't know. I don't know. So now now I'm doubting that theory because that one just took a little while too, unless it's doing the exact same thing. Oh, that was you? Oh, sorry. Good job, for Oh. Oh man. Okay, what should we do? Oh, I think I want to think about this until tomorrow and try to figure it out. That's what I want to do. Yeah, I try not to get too angry. I just don't like not being able to figure something out. It drives me crazy. Hello from Romania. Oh, do you want me to work on something else? I think I'm not going to work on this one anymore. I'm tired of that one. Tired. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I can go home, but I can also hang out for a little bit more. I mean, it's 3-hour streams, 9 o'clock. I mean, I have a little bit more energy, and then we can go home and do bourbon time. Yeah. You want me to call it? Okay. Is everyone tired? Okay, so Twitch viewers, I appreciate you guys joining in. We got 30 of you active on here, 199 followers now on Twitch. So hit the follow button. And then you on YouTube. So I do this every single week, 6 p.m. Central, and on Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central. And you guys vote for the repair, and so I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go along. I don't look at them ahead of time. It's usually after a long day of work, so you get whatever you can get out of me. And I do love puzzles. I do love solving them, and I like the interaction. I'm sorry I wasn't able to fix this one on the live stream. Hopefully I'll be able to fix it tomorrow. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so join. Hit the join button if y'all want to become a donor board member of the channel. I appreciate every single. Oh yeah, and then Sunday I'm going to try to do a stream on Sunday. It's Sunday morning. So probably around 8 a.m. Central. I don't know what it will be. I don't know if it's going to be actively working on something or just a chat thing. Maybe we'll start out with just doing a chat thing, or maybe I'll tinker with something. But and then maybe it'll be a little more fresh. And then we'll try adding that to our schedule, and that way we have other people joining in. And thanks, Michael, for the subscription. And anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Thanks, DIY Dave and JFix and Promise 187. Appreciate every one of you guys being my mods, and I'll see you next week.
I saved another laptop.